Have you got the time?
How does one define an icon? There are many factors that account for this revered status, but what has become evident is that in 1953, Rolex introduced an icon. The Rolex Submariner was the first diving watch water resistant to 100 meters. The watch came fitted with a rotating 60-minute timing bezel to help divers keep track of how long they've spent underwater. The dial was furnished with plenty of luminous material to ensure readability even in the murkiest of waters. Specs, features, and materials have of course improved over the 6+ decades since its introduction, yet the fundamental design has remained. Some of the Submariner timeline highlights include, of course, the introduction in 1953. In 1959, the case size increased to 40 millimeters and crown guards were added as well. In 1967, saw a switch from gilt to matte dial. In 1969, Rolex introduces the Submariner date and the first gold Submariner. 1979, the first sapphire crystal on a Submariner made its appearance. In 1984, the switch was made from matte to gloss dials with white gold markers, and the first two-tone Submariner was available. In 1988, switched from 316L to 904L stainless steel. And in 2003, the first Submariner with a green bezel, reference 16610LV, made an appearance. In 2010, Cerachrome bezel and super case design were introduced. And in 2020, case size increased to 41 millimeters and the lugs got redesigned. The history of the Submariner, awash in fascinating detail and rich with cultural significance. From the early days of its inception, advertising the Submariner emphasized its water resistance thanks to the development of the legendary oyster case. The movements have of course evolved over the decades. Superlative chronometer certifications and improvements in technology have brought the engines powering these watches into the modern era. As it has become more of a status symbol, a trophy of the hunt if you will, if you are fortunate enough to own one of these given the increased prices as of late, let's not forget the original purpose of this piece. This is a genuine tool watch, built for the underwater environment and has been on the wrists of countless divers, including the legendary Jacques Cousteau, who in 1956's The Silent World, one of the first underwater films ever produced, can be seen wearing a Rolex Submariner 6205. The Submariner is cemented in film and Hollywood history, with famous ambassadors and Hollywood royalty sharing their wrists with this iconic model. From the early days of Sean Connery and the Bond connections, to screen legends like Steve McQueen, the Submariner has become a staple of Hollywood right up until the current day. Over its evolution, the famed Submariner has earned just a few nicknames. The Bluesy, the Kermit and the ceramic bezel Cermit and the Starbucks, the Hulk, the Cookie Monster, the Smurf, the Sultan, just to name a few. So to sum it all up, the Rolex Submariner has evolved to become an essential milestone for any serious watch collection. In either its modern incarnation or one of its many hyper-popular vintage examples. Lately, obtaining anything from a Rolex AD is next to impossible, and the gray market pricing is ever increasing in the stratospheric numbers. However, if you do get the opportunity to own one of these true pieces of horology, wear it proudly. Thanks for watching. See you next time.